Welcome back to Zero to Random. Today we're going to be showing you how to do basic maintenance and lubricate a 24-inch barrel style fan. Now, all the information used in this video can be used on any type of consumer-based fan that has the blade connected directly to the motor. So if this is helpful at all, or if you like what you see, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe.
So to start, we're going to go ahead and clean up the fan itself. Anytime you're working on something mechanical, it's a good idea to get it cleaned up so that there's nothing that gets damaged while you're working on it. Next, we're going to go ahead and start removing the grill. So use whatever tools you need for the fan that you're working on. After we get the grill removed, we're going to go ahead and remove the fan blade. In this case, it takes a hex wrench. Once we get off that, we're going to go ahead and clean that as well. From there, we're going to clean up the inside of the fan as well. And then we're going to move on to removing this plastic case that covers the wires for the controller. Once we get that done, we're going to go ahead and start removing the bolts that hold the fan motor to the actual fan assembly itself. Once we get the bolts off, the fan will kind of just fall forward. You'll need to remove that little plastic cover and then pull the wire all the way through. We'll set the fan aside and start working on cleaning up the motor itself. That way we can take that apart as well. So there's going to be bolts in each of the corners of the fan that need to be removed, and then you can split the cases of the motor apart. Now that we have the motor apart, you can see the problem. There's a bronze bushing in the front and the back, and there's a little felt pad around that holds oil that soaks through that bronze. Once that dries up, there's no lubrication for the actual shaft itself, and it will seize up or stop running entirely. So right now, we're going to go ahead and get everything else cleaned up. I'm just using some isopropyl alcohol to wipe everything down. This piece is going to get cleaned off with some electrical cleaner. After that, we're going to go ahead and start putting some 3-in-1 motor oil into that actual felt pad. Do not use just regular 3-in-1 oil. It does need to be a little bit thicker than that. First time I tried this, I actually used regular 3-in-1 and it didn't last more than a couple months. So I filled in that felt pad and I put a couple drops inside the bushing itself. After you get that done, wipe it out, and then we can do the same thing to that front case. Now that that's been lubed, you can see that it actually spins freely, so this is ready to go back together. Assembly is reverse of disassembly, so you're going to go ahead and put the front case on first. Go ahead and put the back case on with the motor shaft in it. Go ahead and start putting those screws back in and get them tightened. Go ahead and fish that wire back through. Get the bolts lined up with the holes that they go into in the frame itself. Get that bolted back up. From here, go ahead and put that little wire cover back on. After that, we'll go ahead and put the fan blade back on as well. Make sure that the bolt lines up with the flat on the shaft. That's what keeps it from coming off. Go ahead and clean up the rest of the grill, and then we're going to go ahead and reattach that as well and then test the fan. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in, fire it up, and see if what we did works. And everything works good. So generally we have to do this maintenance about once a year. This fan gets used almost continuously through the summer and even in the winter as well. So that's about it for basic fan maintenance. If you guys like what you saw, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe.